Gianluigi Donnarumma is reportedly closing in on a move to Manchester City after Galatasaray launched a bid for Ederson. Italy star Donnarumma has been axed by Paris Saint-Germain just months after leading them to Champions League glory, and he has emerged as a target for City amid speculation over Ederson's future. But now, Fabrizio Romano claims Donnarumma is indeed nearing an Etihad switch. Current City number 1, Ederson has long been in the crosshairs of Turkish champs Galatasaray, and they have finally made an offer for the Brazilian worth £8.5 million. City had previously been against selling Ederson, with the stopper coming close to a big-money Saudi Arabian switch last summer. But it's added that they are ready to let him leave the Etihad if Gala increased their bid with a new offer. Ederson's exit will then open the door for Donnarumma to move to England, following links with City's rivals Man United and Chelsea. The former AC Milan star is regarded as one of the world's best when it comes to shots, but his lack of technique could be an issue with City's style of playing from the back. Donnarumma could cost as little as £35 million, though, making him a bargain for Pep Guardiola's side. Ederson was left out of City's squad for their opening day clash against Wolves, fueling speculation of an exit. But before kickoff, Guardiola claimed the Brazilian was actually missing due to illness. He said, "Ederson has a stomach illness. He was constantly vomiting due to this condition. That's why he's not in the squad." It does raise questions over the £27 million return of James Trafford, who rejoined City from Burnley last month, while Stefan Ortega remains at the club despite links with Germany. Man City received first official bid for player Guardiola wants to stay despite Donnarumma's stance. According to Fabrizio Romano, Manchester City have received an offer for Ederson, who could leave after 8 years at the club. Pep Guardiola has confirmed that Ederson is his no.1 goalkeeper right now and is fit to face Wolverhampton Wanderers on Saturday. However, the Brazilian has not traveled for the Premier League opener and summer signing James Trafford is expected to make his debut in goal. "Ederson didn't come to me and say I want to leave or I have an offer," Guardiola said on Friday. "All the players are here and are our players, and I work with them. What's going to happen? Nobody knows." The 31-year-old has been linked with an exit all summer, with clubs in Turkey and Saudi Arabia keen and reported interest in unwanted Paris. Saint-Germain goalkeeper Gianluigi Donnarumma has only added fuel to the fire. With Galatasaray in pole position to land Ederson, transfer expert Romano confirmed on Saturday morning that the Turkish champions have made an opening offer for the ex-Benfica goalkeeper. Romano says Man City have received an offer worth €10 million, £8.6 million, but Guardiola's side want a higher fee. Donnarumma, meanwhile, has already opened doors to City move, and if he joins, Ederson is free to leave. Romano posted on X Galatasaray sent first official bid to Man City for Ederson proposal in the region of €10 million, while City asked for a higher fee. Gigio Donnarumma has already opened doors to City move. No issues on personal terms. If Ederson leaves, Donnarumma can join Man City. Sky Sports reporters Leal Thomas and Adrian Kajumba reported on Friday that Guardiola wants Ederson to stay and remain their first-choice keeper. Manchester City want Ederson to stay, but if he leaves before the deadline, they may look for a replacement. PSG's Gianluigi Donnarumma, long tracked by City, could be on their shortlist, though no talks are underway, and he's viewed as a possible free transfer option next year. Donnarumma posted a statement on Thursday evening that confirmed he is leaving to the special Paris fans. "From the first day I arrived, I gave everything on and off the pitch to earn my place and defend the goal of Paris Saint-Germain," the Italian wrote in a letter to the club's supporters. "I'm saddened to no longer be part of the team. If I can't say goodbye at the Parc des Princes, know that your support has meant everything to me. I'll always cherish the memories, magical nights, and how you made me feel at home. To my teammates, my second family, thank you for every battle, every laugh, every moment we shared. You will always be my brothers. Playing for this club and living in this city has been an immense honor. Thank you, Paris. Thanks for watching. Stay for the next content. Don't forget to like and subscribe." Emotional Arnslot admits he had wanted to bring late Diogo Jota on as a substitute in Liverpool's dramatic victory over Bournemouth. Arnslot says he would have loved to have brought on Diogo Jota in a heartbreaking admission following Liverpool's dramatic 4-2 win over Bournemouth on Friday. What happened? The Reds found themselves in search of a late winner after their 2-goal lead was wiped out by a second-half double from Bournemouth forward Antoine Semenyo on the opening night of the 2025-26 Premier League season. The bigger picture, in an inspired substitution, Slot turned to Federico Chiesa in Liverpool's moment of need, and the Italy international came up trumps, putting his side 3-2 ahead before Mohamed Salah added a fourth to seal all 3 points for the Anfield club. However, Slot admitted after the match that he wished he could have brought on Jota, 28, who tragically died alongside his brother, Andre Silva, 25, in a car crash in Spain in July. What Slot said. In an emotional post-match interview, Slot said, "Normally at 2-2-2, everyone knows which player I look to at that moment in time. I would have loved to bring in Diogo Jota, but I could not for terrible reasons. But tonight, the fans and the players did what he did for us many times in the past." Tell me more. Powerful tributes were paid before, during, and after the match to Jota, whose family were in attendance at Anfield. Liverpool supporters in both the Kop and the Sir Kenny Dalglish stands formed mosaics which read DJ20 and AS30, while Talisman Salah was moved to tears as he joined in a rendition of Jota's chant. What next for Slot in Liverpool? Next up for Liverpool is a tricky away trip to Newcastle United on August 25th, a clash that promises to be one of the early highlights of the Premier League season. For Arne Slot, this fixture will serve as another major test of his tactical philosophy and ability to manage high-pressure games, especially against a side known for their intensity at St. James' Park. The match also carries added spice given the recent transfer saga involving Alexander Isak. Liverpool had a massive £110 million, $149 million bid for the striker, rejected by Newcastle on August 1st, underlining their ambition to bolster their attacking options. Isak himself has made headlines by refusing to feature for Eddie Howe's side amid his preference for a switch to Anfield and a chance to link up with the Premier League champions. Whether the deal can still be revived before the transfer window closes remains uncertain. But the ongoing saga adds drama to an already high-stakes encounter. For Slot, focus is vital. Despite injuries and transfer distractions, Liverpool's strong start must continue. Beating Newcastle would boost their title push and show rivals that Slot's new era is already taking shape. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Barcelona are reportedly setting their sights on Désiré Doué of PSG in what could become one of the boldest transfer pursuits of the next window. According to the claims, Barca are preparing to reshape their squad with the clear ambition of competing once again with the very best clubs in Europe. The long-term plan, insiders suggest, is to construct a new project around the prodigious talent of Lamine Yamal, the 18-year-old sensation who has already established himself as the future of Spanish football. The whispers out of Catalonia point to the idea of pairing Yamal with another electric winger of the same generation, none other than Désiré Doué. The young Frenchman, currently under PSG's protection, has been touted as one of Europe's brightest attacking prospects. The vision at Camp Nou is that the duo, operating together, could usher in a new golden era for Barca, dazzling crowds across La Liga and the Champions League. The potential partnership is already being hyped as the dream duo of European football. The idea of Yamal's silky left-footed creativity being complemented by Doué's explosive pace and sharp instincts is enough to excite any Barcelona supporter. The club's hierarchy reportedly believes that such a combination could provide the perfect foundation to reclaim their status at the top of the footballing pyramid, much like the days when Lionel Messi was surrounded by the likes of Neymar and Luis Suarez. Still, the rumors should be taken with caution. Indy Kaler, who has been gaining traction as a so-called reliable transfer source, was the first to float this story, but the credibility of this claim is in serious doubt. PSG consider Doué untouchable and view him as one of the pillars of their own long-term project. In fact, insiders at the Paris club strongly believe that the 19-year-old will go on to win the 2025 Golden Boy Award, cementing his reputation as the next superstar to come out of France. Convincing PSG to part with the talent of such promise would not only be extraordinarily difficult, but also prohibitively expensive for Barcelona, who are still operating under strict financial restrictions. The Catalan club would need to balance their books with further sales or creative financial maneuvering to even make an official approach. Nonetheless, the very suggestion of Yamal and Doué playing together has sparked conversation across social media. Supporters are already fantasizing about how the two might redefine Barcelona's style of play, offering a brand of attacking football that could rival Europe's current giants, such as Manchester City, Real Madrid, and Bayern Munich. If Barca pull this off, it would be a huge statement that they're fast-tracking their return to dominance, though time will tell if it's real or just another rumor. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Alan Shearer takes incredible swipe at Alexander Isak during Liverpool's season opener amid Newcastle transfer saga. Scroll down to see what Eddie Howe last said on the situation. Alan Shearer has taken an incredible swipe at Newcastle rebel Alexander Isak. The Toon Ace has been pushing for a transfer away from the club this summer, and it is understood he will not take part in Newcastle's season opener at Aston Villa. Isak, 25, was the subject of a rejected £110 million offer from Liverpool, with the St. James Park Club wanting £150 million to sell. However, having already splashed large sums on the likes of Florian Wirtz and Hugo Ekitike, Shearer took a dig at Isak after seeing the latter net the opener against Bournemouth. Ekitike had scored against Crystal Palace mere moments into his debut in the Community Shield, before also managing to score on his Anfield debut on Friday night. The Frenchman, who arrived on Merseyside for an initial £69 million from Eintracht Frankfurt, took a pass from Alexis Mac Allister and nutmegged a Cherries defender before a lucky bounce put him through 101 and allowed him to slot home and open his Premier League account. It was the first goal of a thrilling encounter, which the Reds won 4-2 after two late goals from Federico Chiesa and Mohamed Salah saw off a Bournemouth comeback, although the occasion was plagued by alleged racist abuse by a fan directed towards Antoine Semenyo, with authorities ejecting the fan from the ground and saying they were investigating the incident. But Magpies legend Shearer took to social media during the game to take aim. Shearer, 55, said, "Surely any forward thinking of going to Liverpool will be having second thoughts now, having to play second fiddle to the brilliant Ekitike all season." Isak, who scored 27 goals in all competitions last season, has been training alone away from his teammates for the duration of his strike. Newcastle have continued to pay his £130,000 week wages, but Sunsport understands disciplinary action is on the cards if he misses the club's opening game against Villa at 12:30 p.m. Today, the Swedish ace will be hit with a fine for missing a competitive game if he fails to show. But Isak and his agent Vlado Lermic are still not changing their stance as they continue to try and force his exit. Boss Eddie Howe has made it clear that he wants his top scorer back with the team, but he admits the future of the hotshot is out of his hands. Howe confirmed Anthony Gordon and Sven Botman had shaken off preseason knocks and were available to play, with only Joe Willock unfit for the game. Newcastle also remain in the hunt for a new hitman, with reports linking Brentford's Yoane Wissa, Paris Saint-Germain's Gonçalo Ramos, and Manchester United's Rasmus Højlund with moves. Eddie Howe insists Alexander Isak could stay at Newcastle. "All options remain open, not in my hands." Diplomatic Howe has lost control of Isak's Newcastle future. The £150 million rated Sweden striker has effectively gone on strike as he holds out for a transfer to champions Liverpool. As a player at Bournemouth and Portsmouth, Eddie Howe could invariably be found reading the foreign news pages of the broadsheets while traveling to matches on the team bus. More than 2 decades on the Newcastle manager's ability to construct carefully worded sentences loaded with calibrated between the lines subtext make it easy to imagine him as some sort of international envoy. This skill set dictates that few Premier League counterparts can be better equipped to confront a problem such as Alexander Isak. Yet, behind a resolutely brave face, even Newcastle's manager acknowledges, albeit tacitly, that he has lost control of the situation. The Sweden striker is so keen to force through a move to Liverpool that he has, in effect, gone on strike. After resisting overtures to be reintegrated with the squad, Isak continues to train alone and, it is understood, will shortly be fined the maximum permissible 2 weeks' wages for making himself unavailable for Saturday's season opener at Aston Villa. "I've said many times I want Alex to train and play," Howe said on Friday. "I've had those conversations with him." Pressed on whether Isak could rejoin the squad before the end of this month, he shrugged. "I don't know," he said. "Alex will control that. So how did it come to this?" Isak, disgruntled at not receiving the pay rise he believed he had been promised during the summer of 2024, left plenty of clues about his mindset last season. In a BBC interview with Alan Shearer last winter, and then before the Carabao Cup final, the 25-year-old was non-committal, to say the least, about his future. It would be inconceivable to think a manager as tuned in as Howe would not have second-guessed his leading scorer's disillusion. In perhaps the most revealing moment of Friday's press conference, he was asked whether, when Newcastle sealed Champions League qualification in May, he was confident of Isak fulfilling the 3 remaining years on his contract. "I was not thinking of any individual in that moment, so I can't really give an answer on that," he said. Then came a query as to why Newcastle had acted as if blind to Isak's unhappiness and potential for disruptive behavior in June. Had they placed the striker on the market then, an auction would surely have unfolded. There would also have been more alternative attacking options for the board to pursue. Howe admitted losing Isak, who skipped preseason, is a big blow, calling him one of the world's best strikers. Howe said morale dipped in preseason as players struggled with Isak's absence. Howe admitted Isak's absence hurt morale, but said the squad has adapted, with Liverpool's £110 million bid rejected and no replacement yet signed. He faces Villa without a striker, using Gordon up front. Thanks for watching.